Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane Warhammer 40,000 Kasrkin. This guy's basically a military soldier, and I thought I could put him to a ton of use in my action figure world. First thought was maybe some guards for Lex Luthor, working for LexCorp, but I imagine there's no limit to what I can do with these guys. I pre-ordered them from Big Bad Toy Store, and they finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the package. As you can see at the top, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, Warhammer 40k. Astra, Militarum, Kasrkin. Officially licensed Warhammer merchandise. Here he is on package, look like collector's card, display stand, guns, hands, the whole 9 yards. One side of the package, Warhammer 40k. Other side, Astra, Militarum, Kasrkin. At the back, here is a ton of army building. And at the bottom, there's the barcode, if that helps. So with no further ado, let's open them up. And I did get 4 of these Kasrkin figures. I thought they could be for some great soldiers, army builders, etc. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. We have a display stand, a collector's card, a gun, and then 4 alternate hands. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Kasrkin, part of the Astra Militarum. These are special operatives with more potent weaponry, and they're basically soldiers from the Warhammer universe. In my action figure world, they're going to be generic soldiers, and specifically I plan to use them as LexCorp soldiers or soldiers that work for Lex Luthor. It worked in my head. Maybe it's because of the green, maybe it's because they're just generic soldiers, but either way, I think it's going to work out pretty good. So let's take a closer look. Starting with his head here, he's got a helmet. He does have the Warhammer logo on his forehead, but not a big deal to me. He's got kind of a gas mask thing going on, a little antenna on his backpack, the Warhammer logo again, all kind of different logos on his shoulders, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. It's a fairly basic design, a little bit of, I don't know, almost camo. He's got some grenades on his belt. It's a good looking figure, and I should be able to put it to a lot of use, not just for LexCorp soldiers, but all kind of different scenarios with soldiers in general, maybe working for Amanda Waller, government, different villains, etc. And a closer look at his face, helmet, and head sculpt. Looks pretty good. More or less a generic soldier with a green helmet and gas mask, and that's exactly what I wanted out of this figure. And then, here's the figure, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories, starting off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand, typical McFarlane display stand. This one says Warhammer 40k at the bottom. And then we have his collector's card. As you can see on the front, an image of a bunch of these soldiers. On the back side, there is a description. If you want to read that, pause now. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 4 of them. 3 left hands, and 1 right hand. Here he is with his first pair of hands. This is a pair of gripping hands with trigger fingers for his gun. Here's his first alternate left hand. This is a traditional gripping hand with a rather large grip. And here's his last left hand. This is a pointing hand with the index finger pointing right at you. And now for his gun. This is a high-powered hotshot laser gun. As you can see, the gun itself is quite bulky. Looks like it has maybe some energy at top showing the charge. The front, the laser comes out. It's got a handle and a trigger and another place to support the gun. Here's a soldier holding his gun, which you can hold with either one hand or with 2. And in case you weren't paying attention at the beginning, I did get 4 of these guys to army build as LexCorp soldiers. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.7 inches tall, which could translate to around 17 centimeters. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you can rotate side to side. He can look up and down about that much. Can tilt his head, at least a little bit from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint. They don't go out very far. The shoulder pads are, I believe, supposed to sort of go over the straps. And if you mess with enough, they can do it.
Up, down, around. He's got that butterfly ring between his shoulder and chest. Increase the range of motion and covering a large gap that would be there. Looks like there is a bicep cut, but minimal movement there. Double jointed elbows. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged. Although with this little armor here, it doesn't have much range on the hinge. He's got a ball joint in his torso, rotate around, forward and back, hidden very nicely with the armor piece on top. Another one in his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion. Legs, they only go out about this far. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. They go forward, not much either. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees and his ankles, forward and back. Rotate, tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Here's a look at Lex Luthor holding some kryptonite, overtaking Superman, surrounded by his LexCorp guards. Now let's check him out. Next we have some other action figures, starting off with some other Warhammer figures, and then some Lex Luthor figures. So, I got 4 of these guys. These are my soldiers or guards for Lex Luthor, LexCorp Army. Here's a soldier, next most recent Warhammer figure that I got. This is the Commissar. And here he is, next to a couple more Warhammer soldiers. These are from Warhammer Darktide. These are the Cadian Vet Guards. Then, next to Warhammer Darktide Trader Guard. Next, with the Warhammer 40k Space Marine. This is the unpainted artist-proof version. Now, with a couple of Necron flayed ones, both the regular and platinum versions. Here he is, next to the Senorita Battle Sister. This is the platinum version. And here, next to Ogurn, this is the Mega figure. Then, with a couple of Tyrannid Gene Stealers. These are the regular versions. Next, with a couple Platinum Chase variant of the Tyrannid Gene Stealers. And now, with a couple more Tyrannid Gene Stealers. These are the Yumgarl versions. And finally, with a couple more Yumgarl Gene Stealers. These are the unpainted artist-proof versions. And now that we've checked them out with all my Warhammer figures, let's check them out with the figure I intended him to go with. This is the McFarlane DC Multiverse Lex Luthor in his power suit. Scaling is a little bit off, but it's okay. Lex Luthor is in a giant armored suit, so he's going to be a little bit taller, and these are going to be his soldiers. And here he is with all 3 versions of McFarlane's Lex Luthor. And here he is with my DC Direct Lex Luthor figures. And here he is with all of my Mattel Lex Luthor figures. On the left, some power suit versions, and on the right, some business suit versions. The one immediately to the right of the Warhammer soldier is a Mattel DC Universe Classics Lex Luthor head on a Clark Kent body. The irony that that is the best Lex Luthor I have. And then the 2 Batman vs Superman Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthors. I use those as Alexander Luthor, Lex Luthor's son. At least that's how it is in my action figure world. And here he is, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures. Now let's check him out. Next is my action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here's this Warhammer soldier, next to some Weed Whacker line. And here he is, with some DC Direct and NECA Superman figures. Then, with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel Superman figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figuarts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, these are some cool soldier figures. They don't look quite as convincing as LexCorp soldiers as I thought they would be when I pre-ordered them, but I'm still happy to have them. I can put them to many, many different uses in my action figure world. Their accessories, extra hands and a gun. Gun is a little bit oversized, but happy to have that gun. I can provide some of my own if I need them. His height, definitely shorter than I expected. Being a soldier, he should be as tall as a regular person, but he's not even 7 inches tall. Quite a bit shorter than their Multiverse figures. If I were to rate this guy, I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10. I'm a little bit underwhelmed with the figure, but like I said, if I go back in time, I still would have ordered all 4. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to save the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.